Welcome to Cook Kids. I'm Aurelia and today we'll be making 3-layered rainbow cake. We will be needing 300 grams of self-raising flour, 300 grams of caster sugar or any sugar, 300 grams of butter, 6 eggs and your 3 food colouring. Once you have all your ingredients, it's time to measure them out. Like I said, you'll be needing 300 grams of self-raising flour. Once you have measured your 300 grams of self-raising flour, it's time to measure your 300 grams of butter. Once you have measured your butter and self-raising flour, it's time to beat them until they are well combined. It's now time to add the sugar. Now it's time to put in your 300 grams of sugar and you need to mix this well. Do not worry if it's really crumbly because it's now time to add your eggs. So we will now be needing 6 eggs. I'm going to add about 2 or 3 at a time. I've now added my first 2 eggs and it's time to mix. With all your dry ingredients, your butter and your first 2 eggs, this is what it should look like. It now looks like a cake batter once you have added 4 eggs. Time for the next 2. I have now added all 6 of my eggs and this is what your batter should look like. Now it's time to split your batter into 3 separate bowls. Once you have split all your batter into 3 separate bowls, it's time to add the food colouring. I am doing yellow, red and blue. Right, now it's time to add the food colouring to your first batch. I'm only adding a few drops because I don't want mine to be too dark. Right, now I have coloured all of my cake batter. It's time to put them into their baking tin. Now it's time to butter all 3 of your tins. You also need to prepare your oven at 200 degrees to put your cakes in. It's time to line your cake tins with greaseproof paper. Now it's time to put your cake batter into your cake tins. Now I have put all my cake batters into the baking tins. It's time to put them in the oven for 18 to 20 minutes. Once your cake is in the oven, it's time to make the buttercream. We will be needing 150 grams of butter and 300 grams of icing sugar. Once you have measured your ingredients, it's time to put the butter and icing sugar into a bowl to beat with a spoon. Once you've put your butter in, it's time to put your 300 grams of icing sugar. Right, now I have my icing sugar and butter in my bowl. If you want, you can use your hands, and that's what I'm going to do to mix it. This is what it should look like once you've mixed the butter and your icing sugar together. It is now time to put in 2 to 3 tablespoons of boiling water. Right, so I have now added about 5 spoons of boiling water in, and this is what it should look like. I know it looks small, that's why might make 2 batches. It's now time to get your cake out of the oven if it's finished baking. As you can see, I used some chocolate frosting left over from my eggless chocolate cake to put my cakes on top of each other and stick them securely. Right now I have a piping bag in my hand. I'm going to put my icing into a piping bag so it's easier to spread nicely on the cake. As you can see, I just cut my bag from my piping bag and I'm now just going to squirt it along the top. Right, as you can see, I have just finished Well, I am finishing icing the top of my cake, and it's now time to use the piping bag again, this time for the sides. As you can see, I just finished icing my cake. I also used a playing card to smoothen around the edges. Don't worry if you can see parts of your cake where they join. It's okay. Now it's time to add some sprinkles or whatever you like for decoration. As you can see, I have finished, and I have cut out this number, or you can do letters, and I'm now going to put sprinkles all over it to make a mark. And yeah, if you want, you can also put candles, chocolate chips, anything you want on the top of it. And there you go, that is how you make a rainbow cake.